Hi guys, I'm Shreya and this is Decoding Code. In this video we will talk about non-primitive variables. So just if you haven't watched my previous video about primitive variables, then maybe you should go check that out because in this video we will be using some of the concepts that we've learned over there. So just make sure that you go over there and watch that before you watch this video. Now in this video we'll be talking about strings and arrays, which are non-primitive variables. So first off, strings. Strings are sequences of characters, and you can see I've printed out a string here. And strings are encased in quotation marks. If someone is saying something, then what would you do? Now, to indicate that something is part of the string and not ending the string, you use a backslash. So if you put a backslash before a quotation mark, then it'll put the quotation mark inside the string and not end the string right there. Also, with backslashes, what if you want to put a backslash? Then you have to backslash the backslash, because otherwise it'll be waiting for the thing after it to include in the string, and it'll try and do its job when it has nothing to do. Now, arrays. Arrays are pretty exciting because they're like lists, and but you can do a lot with them. The first way to create an array is to first just make a blank array and then just put in how many ever elements there will be in that array. And then line by line you can put in the values for those elements. If you put in the number of elements that will be there, then the computer won't put in more or put in less, and it'll know exactly how much memory it needs to use. So I think you should use this if you have an array that is not that many elements or is pretty simple. Then you should use this first way. But if you have more elements, then you should use this way. Now you can create an array with any type of variable. And so here we have it. Now the way to make an array is you would put the type of variable and then blank square brackets, and then you would name your array. And then you would just say new variable, like type, type, and then you can put the square brackets, and then you can actually put in the values of your array. Alright, so for a string, then the elements would be strings, and for a character, the elements would be characters. So that is actually how you make a new array. So now, if you wanted to do some things with your array, so you can get the length of your array. So that would just be your name of your array dot length, and that gives you the length of your array. And then also to get the last, alright, so we have to go over the kind of numbering of your array. So when you make a list, you would number it kind of like 1 to whatever other number that you have. But arrays are different because it starts from a 0. So if you have 3 kind of elements, then it would be 0, 1, 2. And that's kind of confusing sometimes, but to get the last element, you would have to do the length minus 1. Because if you have 4, then it would be 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's 4 minus 1, which is 3. Quick maths. Alright, so to get your last element, you would have to do the length minus 1, and then to get your first element, it would be just 0 because it starts at 0. So now you can see that I've done this kind of stuff with it, and I've used length and length minus 1, and the first one, the last one, and the length. So yeah, you can do some pretty cool things, and you can see after I executed it, you can say the length of your array, what's last, what's first, and it can be pretty easy to use that. Now, just for fun, we're gonna do something really cool, and we're gonna swap the order of the array. So we're gonna put the first element in the last place, and then the last element in the first place. We first print the original because we wanna see kind of before and after. And then so you would kind of think that you would just put them equal to each other. But why that wouldn't work is because if you took out this step and you just set them equal to each other, then when you set the first one equal to the last one, then it'll be, this first and the last will be the same. So it'll be 5, 9, 10, 5. So then when you try and set the last one to the first one, it won't make a difference because the first one is now the last element. And that's a little bit complicated, but basically it means that this first element has already been changed and replaced in the computer's memory. So that 8 is gone and now it's replaced with a 5. So then if you want to replace the 5 with the first one, you have to save this 8. And so that's what we do here. We make a variable called swap, and then we put that into the last one at the end. And then we print out the swapped array. Now, I use arrays.toString and then the name of the array, and because that prints out the array, because you can't just print out, say like swapped array and then ints, because that's just not how it works, I guess. So also you might notice that I put like \n in a lot of places, and that's basically just what creates these new lines, so it doesn't all like blend together and it's easy to read in my console. So that is actually it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. In my next video, we will talk about custom data types, so basically like creating our own classes, like scanner is a class, arrays a class. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Comment down below any feedback you guys might have for me, and I will see you again next week with that new video. Bye!